to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Khaki, and today we are going to be talking about running and exercise and essentially how I stay in shape. I like talking about this stuff anyway, but also we are embarking on the very beginning of 2018. Everybody is kind of rethinking all of their health and fitness goals, and I want to help out in any way that I can. So before we get started, guys, make sure that you subscribe down below if you haven't already. A ton of you guys who watch these videos on a regular basis are not subscribed, and I would hate for you to miss anything cool, so make sure that you keep up with my channel and go ahead and hit the button down below. And guys, without further ado, let's get started. So the title of this video is Why I Quit Running, and that might come as a surprise to a lot of you guys because in previous videos I've done videos called getting into running, my winter running essentials, my summer running essentials, things like that. A lot of helper's guides to getting started with running because I am a very passionate runner. I have always really loved running. It's always been kind of my choice mode of exercise. I have written articles about it. I have been just basically a devotee to running as a means of staying in shape and triggering a lot of really great endorphins. My boyfriend is also a huge runner. He ran all the way through like his childhood and high school and college and after that and everything, and he's run marathons, and so it's always been kind of a near and dear thing for us. But last year I got injured, and I've been injured before. I've been injured, gosh, I think when I first started really getting into running, like 5 years ago or something, I injured my foot because I ran too much too quickly. And since then I've had things like shin splints or runner's knee or pretty much all the typical things that you get from overuse. And what I will typically do for an overuse injury is go to a particular type of physical therapy. Here in Texas we have it, it's called a ROSTI, and it's a form of physical therapy where the therapist actually physically uses their hands and moves your muscles back to where they're supposed to be. It suffocates the oxygen out of it, and then it makes your muscle kind of like reboot itself, and it's hideously painful and incredibly effective. However, last year my IT band started hurting so badly all the way from my kind of runner's knee on the left side up my hip to the point where it was hurting all the way to the middle of my back, and I couldn't get a deep breath, and it was extending all the way into the underneath of my left foot. It became so painful, even though I was going to physical therapy and doing everything that I could to try and strengthen the muscles that I needed to strengthen in order to overcome the overuse injury. Every run started to feel like my last run, and every time I was about to go for a run and I'm putting my shoes on and I'm getting ready and I'm trying to stretch and things like that, I got anxiety that it wasn't going to be good. I was going to get done with the run and feel worse than I did when I went into it, and I was having pain that wasn't just activated by the running, it was also following me throughout the day, and it became an issue where I was losing flexibility. I've always had natural flexibility in my hip flexors, like if you sit in lotus position and you can like lean all the way to the floor essentially, like I've always been able to do that, and suddenly my left hip wouldn't let me do that anymore, no matter what, and it was just super painful. It was painful when I slept. My knee just felt gross, like it felt like really squishy and just nasty, and I basically took all of these things as a great deal of signs that I needed to choose a new way of staying in shape. And it broke my heart because running's fun. Running, I know not everybody thinks so, but I think that running is fun, and it's really easy. It's a really easy way to stay in shape if your body has great running economy and you don't get a lot of overuse injuries. It's incredibly effective for maintaining your physique. And it's also really great for, like I said, triggering really great endorphins to your brain. You get a really nice, what they call, runner's high and things like that. You get done, you're exhausted, you kicked your own butt, it only takes like 30 minutes to do it, and you get your exercise in a few times a week. It's fantastic. But for me, my body was just kind of giving out. It was telling me in no uncertain terms, you need to be honest with yourself and you need to find a new way to stay in shape. So it's probably been since July or August that I've been for a run, and I have been experimenting with different other ways. There was a time in my life where I did a lot of high intensity interval training, and that also I ended up injuring myself a lot in. The way that people do that typically is, weightlifting, Tabata, going to like a boot camp or something like that. I did that. I got really muscular, like actually more muscular than I really wanted to be. Like my clothes stopped fitting like around my arms and stuff, and I was like, this isn't really for me, and it's really expensive. and I needed something that was on my own time. I don't like showing up places on time unless it's work. I like to make my own schedule. I think that exercise for me has to be on my own terms or it's less rewarding. I don't really want to feel like I'm reporting to someone else. And so after a lot of experimenting, I found that not only for getting myself in shape, but also for undoing a lot of the damage that I had done from running on my bad knee and on my bad IT band, that yoga was actually the best solution for me. I have done a lot of yoga in the past, but it was always yoga that was centered around fitness and weightlifting. They have classes where you can actually do weightlifting combined with yoga, or it's in like a hot room or something like that. I wanted to make it about mindfulness first and physique second. And so I started using the Down Dog app, which I have talked about in the past, for more meditative, relaxing yoga. And lately I have started using an app called Asana Rebel. And everybody wants to say Asana. If you think about it, it's like Supta Baddha Konasana. It's Asana. So Asana Rebel. And when you open the app, she says it right. So you just repeat after her. And Asana Rebel is more of a fitness-oriented yoga app. So it's like one is more of a relaxation workout and one is more of a muscle workout. And you can choose lots of different workouts on Asana Rebel. This is not sponsored, and it's very repetitive motion oriented, so essentially it's strengthening you to be better at yoga. So it's making all of those muscles that become really elongated and beautiful and toned when you're doing any kind of yoga. It just accentuates that and makes you better at doing yoga. So you do eventually get to a flow, but it starts you off with very repetitive motions to make sure that your body is limber enough to be able to do a lot of the positions that come later on in the programs. So that is where I have kind of arrived after being like a sad ex-runner or a retired runner. I really do feel like there's not a lot of running in my future, but yoga has become this very sustainable thing where I used to run maybe 3 times a week. Now I do yoga pretty much every day. And it's easy because most of my yoga routines I will do for about 30 minutes. And if I'm doing a really relaxing one a lot of times, I will journal beforehand, I will do my mindfulness practice, and then I will go into my yoga. And for the more workout-oriented ones, I'll do those in the evening a lot of times before I take a shower or something like that. And it is just much more sort of like, you know, break a sweat, tone your muscles, get sore the next day kind of thing. So it's a really nice, healthy balance for me. But as we are heading into the new year, I guess we're already in the new year, we all are looking for results, right? We're not just looking for feel good. We're not just looking to, you know, have an excuse to stop running, because a lot of people do actually hate running. For me, I found, especially detoxing after the holidays and everything like that, equally important to your workout and keeping your body active and getting your heart rate up occasionally and breaking a sweat, etc., is what you're putting in your mouth. I know that's not unfamiliar, but that old adage that says abs are made in the kitchen, not in the gym, it is so freaking true. What you eat makes such a huge difference in how you look, but it's not necessarily just your nutrition. I think that there are a lot of these people out on YouTube who will just advocate for a plant-based diet and say, go vegan and all your dreams will come true and all of your problems will go away. Not for everybody. Honestly, I can't be vegan because my digestion doesn't support that much fiber. And if there's anything that I can emphasize, it's that your digestion is equally important to your nutrition. There are so many of us out there with digestive issues, and most people are ignoring them or just living with them. If you can figure out what it is that's wrong with your digestion, you take down the bloat, and guess what's underneath the bloat most of the time? Those abs that you've been wanting to bring out of the dark. For me, I am going to be taking a blood test soon that is called the LEAP test. I just got it in the mail. I have to take it into a lab when everything opens up tomorrow. Essentially, it is going to test tons of different allergens against my blood, and they're going to give me a little card of my red foods and my yellow foods after that, so that I can finally know what I can eat and what I can't eat, because I just don't know what I'm sensitive to. And so I've just been sticking to a handful of things that I know are okay. I eat a lot of bananas and almond butter, a lot of avocado toast, a lot of rotisserie chicken, lamb, things like that. Just basically whole foods that are easy to digest. I would love to bring more complex veggies back into my diet, but right now my digestion is just not there, and we have to be kind of honest with where we're at right now. And so if you want to achieve those fitness goals, think about it this way. It's kind of cutting yourself a little bit of slack, because that layer on your stomach, it might not be all fat. It could also be bloating. It doesn't matter how much you work out if you are bloated 24/7 and you're not going to get to see the result of all of your work. If you can do an elimination diet, the idea behind it is to take out everything in your diet that you might be allergic to, eat that way for 2 weeks, and then start re-adding in the foods that you're afraid that you might be sensitive to. And you'll see, boom, when your symptoms come back, which foods are sending that inflammatory response through your body. It is not always that simple, because 5 years ago, I did a long elimination diet, and the results were all signs point to gluten intolerance, which I know that I am gluten intolerant, and so I stopped eating gluten 5 years ago. However, many of my symptoms have returned from other foods since then. That is why I'm doing the LEAP test, is to figure out what's wrong. And if you're like me and you are so frustrated, you're at your wit's end, that you just don't know what the right thing to eat is, I feel you. I know where you're coming from. So just Google it. I'm, again, not sponsored, but I am going to do a video when I get my results back, so I can let you guys know what my little card says and how I'm going to let that help me navigate my diet going forward. I'm going to go to the doctor who is trained in the LEAP test here in Austin, and she's going to help me kind of design a good eating plan for myself, a good nutrition plan, and I will share all of that with you guys when I get the test back. So I'm actually really, really excited about it. I'm not excited about the blood part, but you know, it's a means to an end. But I encourage you guys to think this year not just about your eating habits, not just about the amount of calories in, calories out, but also about what is agreeing with your body, what your body wants to eat. Because if there's anything the scientific community has proven out of all this research about food allergies over the last few years, it's that our microbiomes, our bacteria living in our guts, they are so unique to each person. So anybody who comes to you and says, this worked for me, so it'll work for you, that is bad math, that is bad logic, and no one should be able to tell you how to eat. So in this case, we come back to mindfulness. Mindfulness is about noticing, right? Start to notice how you feel after you eat certain things, after you eat certain meals. With that mindfulness, start to gain a better understanding of what your body is asking for. More of this, less of that. Don't let anybody else tell you the right way to eat. The right way to eat for you is the right way to eat. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys. And if you enjoyed this, guys, please do give it a thumbs up. Pass it along if you think it'd be helpful to anybody else. And again, if you are not already and you would like to be, please hit the button down below and subscribe. I would love it if you did. And guys, I love you. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you as soon as possible.